And a good day to you. Here's a live look at Kauai, where the winds are picking up at Honolulu Bay. The governor has issued an emergency proclamation ahead of a very wet week of weather. The National Weather Service is warning that the state could see prolonged heavy rain, flash flooding, strong thunderstorms, and high winds across the islands through the weekend. I spoke to Kauai Mayor Derek Kawakami just a few minutes ago. Here's what he has to say as the storm approaches Kauai.
We're asking all of our people, and that includes visitors as well, to anticipate a weather system to come sometime during Tuesday, of course, overnight, and it should be escalating from Wednesday for the rest of the week. So what that means for people is to take necessary precautions. We're telling people if they're going to be on the road and if their windshield wipers are not working optimally, they may want to consider changing that out or using some sort of rain repellent. For people that are in flood-prone areas, we have been through this before. We know exactly what to do. They should start preparing from today and doing what they can, because we are expecting some rain to show up from Tuesday already. It's looking like the forecasts are showing that it's going to be potentially heavy rain, some potential thunderstorms and lightning. We're asking visitors to please plan accordingly. Right now is not the right time to be on our hiking trails. Kauai is notoriously known for being absolutely beautiful and turning in a blink of an eye. So we're asking people not to put our first responders into harm's way unnecessarily. And we're just asking everybody to help each other out in getting prepared for what could be a tricky weather system.
And Mayor, like you were just saying, starting to get ready for all of the inclement weather coming in. County cruise-wise, tell us what your staff and your advisories are going out regarding what the agencies are doing to, make things ready and preparing for the storm.
Sure, and like I said, the State Department of Transportation, DLNR, our County Public Works and Parks crew, it's an all hands on deck effort. They are well prepared. They are pre-positioning assets and equipment in areas that are vulnerable to make sure that we have the tools that we need if we have to pivot quickly. Our crews are out there examining culverts, taking a look at where threats could potentially lie, and just they're doing what they're trained to do. And I couldn't be prouder of those guys. And we're hit with some tricky situations. Those guys are engaged.
Is Kauai Mayor Derek Kawakami. For more on the weather heading our way this week, let's go straight to our meteorologist, Drew Davis. Drew?
Aloha, Jonathan. The National Weather Service has issued a flood watch for both Kauai and Oahu, and this will likely be extended further eastward as we're going forward throughout the next couple of days. The flood watch for Kauai starts tomorrow morning, and the flood watch for Oahu starts tomorrow evening. Like I mentioned, this will likely be extended statewide and last throughout Saturday afternoon. Now, again, is a good time to prepare. Clear your storm drains, clear your gutters, secure any outdoor items, especially if you're on the northern or windward side of the island. The winds will be rushing up the mountains and speeding up as they come back down on your side of the island. And most importantly, make sure to check in on your kupuna and family and make sure they have the most up-to-date information. Let's just take a look at this storm system that's off to the northwest. Again, this is expected to move in late Tuesday night for Kauai and really intensify throughout Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's the storm system. It is very large. You can see the cold front associated with it. It's going to continue creeping further eastward. But let's take a look at the first alert futurecast, because again, this is not going to just be a one-day event. This is going to last all the way into this weekend, and some weather models are even hinting at the chance of it sticking around into Monday of next week. You can see in our first alert futurecast out there, pretty nice day out there today. Southeasterly winds keeping it a little bit more humid out there. But again, the front starts to come down, or at least the rainfall, Tuesday evening for Kauai, moving down to Oahu and Maui counties. We're going into Wednesday afternoon. Strong southerly winds expected out there. Again, some of those winds could be damaging over on the northern or windward sides of the island. And then as we're going into Thursday, a little bit more scattered out there, but another round of rainfall is expected going into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it just sticks around, bringing a great chance for heavy rainfall out there. Again, just take a look at some of the totals. This is not exactly what's going to happen out there, but going from now until Friday, Nearly 13.5 inches of rainfall in Kekaha, Honolulu, 7 inches in town, 4 inches. And as we go further in time into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you see those rainfall totals increase once again, closer to that 7-inch mark in town. I'll give you a full breakdown of our 7-day forecast coming up in a bit, but we've got a lot of more information for you on this First Alert Weather Day. Check out our extended weather updates streaming live on our H&N streaming app. That's available on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire.
And as Drew was saying, stay with us for the latest on what's coming in with the weather. In other news of the world and nation, Iran has appointed a new supreme leader. They chose the son of the late Ayatollah, who has not been seen in public since his father was killed at the onset of the U.S. and Israeli attacks. Erica Brown has more details from the White House.
Thousands of supporters of the Iranian regime rallied in Tehran and pledged support for the newly appointed supreme leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei, the son of the former supreme leader killed in U.S.-Israeli airstrikes. In an interview with Fox News, President Trump said he was not happy with Khamenei's appointment. He had previously pushed for the U.S. to be involved in selecting Iran's new leadership. The Ayatollah's appointment is seen as an act of defiance by Iran, and the new leader could be a target.
The highest risk job right now is to be the new Ayatollah. That's a high-risk job.
Monday, Iranian state TV showed a video of what it says were 31 waves of missile launches aimed at American and Israeli targets in the region.
They are attacking neighboring countries, their energy infrastructure, their civilian population. They're attacking embassies. This is a terrorist government.
The State Department says it has assisted more than 20,000 Americans overseas since the start of the war, and on Monday ordered non-emergency personnel to evacuate a U.S. consulate in Turkey. Over the weekend, President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance attended the dignified transfer of 6 U.S. soldiers killed in a retaliatory strike in Kuwait. Vice President Vance says the remains of a 7th service member who died after an attack in Saudi Arabia will return to the U.S. Monday evening. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
And in news of the islands, firefighters responded to a 2-alarm fire at the home in Aina Highland this morning. This is the view from the scene at Lave Street and Hind Iuka Drive. HOD crews were called out there just before 6:30 this morning. The fire was out within about a half hour. We have confirmed that this is the same home that an early morning fire ripped through back in August. Neighbors had expressed concerns about the owner's erratic behavior, including living in the burnt-out home after last year's fire. And charges have now been filed against John Nihipali. He's the man accused of murdering his girlfriend inside a Makali area apartment on Thursday. Police say Nihipali later that day stabbed his estranged wife in Kapolei. She was critically injured. The State Department of Corrections says Nihipali was on a socialization furlough at the time. He is now being held without bail. Now, this case has prompted the State Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to begin a comprehensive review of the inmate work furlough program. We've learned Nihipali was wearing a court-ordered ankle monitor at the time of the Thursday incidents.
As much as a shock it is to hear it put together in this manner and this succession of events, it is very traumatic for our community, for all the people who are affected and involved by this.
The governor has authorized the Corrections Department director to suspend the furlough program for 30 days while the review is underway. Compensation for victims of the 2023 Maui wildfires could begin as soon as next month. About 21,000 victims are set to share roughly $4 billion in a settlement that was reached more than a year ago. Since then, attorneys have been working out how the money will be divided. Judge Peter Cahill says he hopes to finalize a plan that would give insurance companies about 10% of what they're seeking. He also will decide how much attorneys will be paid.
But I gotta tell you, in a lot of cases, that reduction for attorney's fees is gonna be minimal because the people who are gonna be seeking the reduction didn't take any depots, didn't hire experts.
The litigation was contentious all the way from day one to the settlement and from the settlement up until now. It's been very contentious.
Judge Cahill said he wants all issues resolved by the end of this month so victims can start getting paid in April. Well-known Hawaii recording artists are sounding off after they say a Japanese promoter stiffed them tens of thousands of dollars. Our A'ali'i Duklo spoke with one of them and has his reaction.
Weldon Kekawoha says he's owed about $60,000. The Grammy-nominated musician has been working with the promoter for more than 15 years. He fully expected to get paid, as he had been in the past.
You know how we are in Hawaii. We consider people we work with not only as business people, but you share time and then you feel like family. That's just how it is in Hawaii. So it is disappointing.
Kekawoha and other artists performed 11 concerts over the past month and a half, with the last and largest of about 500 in the audience canceled on Saturday. They addressed the hundreds in attendance about why they were canceling.
It became an issue of how do we not disappoint our fans? It doesn't change my attitude towards doing business here in Japan. It still is a great place. The people are wonderful. There are, funny people everywhere you go.
Kekawoha is now seeking legal help, claiming promoter Masa Honda did not pay him for the tour.
He's been going dark a little bit.
Grammy-nominated Hawaiian music star Natalie Ai Kamau and Grammy winner Kalani Pe'a were also not compensated. The incident had award-winning Hawaiian music group Nahoa cancel their scheduled shows with Honda.
We didn't want false advertisement that we were coming and then this person to get away with that, because we did receive messages that people have already bought tickets for that November show. Just to stand in solidarity, like I shared in my post, no, it's important that we stand together.
We are all just kind of a little bit saddened, but we'll still do what we do. It's kind of our love for this part of our culture, the music and the dance, is going to be with us all the time.
We reached out to the promoter for a response and we're waiting to hear back. A'ali'i Duklo, Hawaii News Now.
And coming up, a new program that could help you if you're running late in your rent. Stay with us for details on that. Plus, gas prices are going up and down. Details on what you can expect to pay at the pump coming up in 2 minutes right here on Hawaii News Now. If you're behind on rent, you're entitled to a free mediation service to avoid getting evicted. Annalisa Burgos explains how a new state pilot program requires landlords to work out plans with their tenants.
More than half of the state's rental homes are owned by mom and pop landlords, local families who aren't equipped to deal with money disputes and evictions and end up in court. The goal of mediation is to reduce anxiety and save everyone time and money. Under a new state law, a landlord serving an eviction notice to a tenant who fails to pay rent must also notify mediation services. The tenant has 10 days to request free mediation, postponing the eviction process. A mediator meets with the landlord and tenant together in person or virtually, and then separately. It's confidential, so all parties feel comfortable.
It gives them the ability to talk to each other as people, understand each other's situation, and work out realistic agreements that the tenant can live up to and that gets the landlord paid.
Since the law took effect February 5th, the Mediation Center of the Pacific on Oahu has received 328 notices. Of those, 40 cases were mediated and 35 reached an agreement. In many cases, tenants paid their rent after getting the eviction notice.
We have a proven track record that when landlords and tenants mediate early, before the hole gets too big and too deep, there's a greater likelihood of an agreement, and ideally that the tenant remains housed in the unit or has enough time to find another place to live.
But most tenants don't ask for early mediation out of fear or not understanding the process and end up months behind on rent. Then both parties end up in costly court proceedings, like what happened with Will Choi, who rents out his sister's home to pay for her medical care.
We had to hire attorneys. Attorneys are expensive. And plus all of the expenses while this is all going on. You know, you have to pay your taxes, you have to pay your utility bills.
Housing advocates hope raising awareness about the program will reduce evictions and backlog in the courts.
It would just normally escalate into a process where neither party is discussing the problem. Hopefully, this will break down those walls a little bit, that power imbalance, and get folks talking.
Landlords can go to the mediationcentersofhawaii.org to submit the state-mandated notice to tenants and to their county's Mediation Services Center. And you can find more information and resources on our website. Annalisa Burgos, Hawaii News Now.
As the U.S. and Israel continue to wage war against Iran, drivers are feeling the impact at the pump. Gwen Baumgartner is in Los Angeles hearing from drivers filling up their cars at a much higher price than last week.
As black smoke from an Iranian oil refinery rises, so do gas prices here in the U.S.
Probably going to get worse before it gets better.
AAA reports the average cost of a gallon of regular gas is $3.48, up nearly 50 cents from a week ago.
I remember when gas was $4. I'm not looking forward to it.
The highest gas prices in the country are in California. At this Los Angeles pump, regular gas is $5.19 a gallon.
We're going to have to take a pinch as consumers, but the limited amount it's going to cost each individual for the freedom the world's going to get, in my opinion, is worth it.
About a fifth of the world's oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz, but now tankers aren't moving out of fears they could be attacked by Iran.
We're both in Iran and in Venezuela. You would think something beneficial will come out of it, but it looks like it's not.
President Trump posted on social media he believes the price surge is short-term and will drop rapidly.
In the worst case, this is weeks. This is not months, and it leads to a much better place. It leads to an Iran that's defanged.
Maritime historian Salvatore Mercogliano says the U.S. doesn't have the resources to defend ships in the strait right now.
Even if we open up the strait tomorrow and go back to normal traffic, you've already caused a disruption. It's going to take weeks to get everything back into order.
On Tuesday, energy ministers from the G7 countries, including the U.S., are expected to discuss the possible release of strategic oil reserves. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Stick around. Coming up after the break, we've got your full First Alert weather forecast. First Alert weather days starting tomorrow for Kauai, continue all the way into this weekend. I'll have the details coming up.
Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Happy Monday, everybody. Again, tomorrow starts First Alert Weather Days, extending all the way into this weekend. We've got a chance for heavy rainfall as a powerful Kona low is going to be approaching the state from the northwest. Let's take a look at what we're tracking out there. Again, we've got days of heavy rain and flooding possible. Again, a flood watch has been issued for the islands of Kauai and Oahu starting tomorrow. That will likely be extended further eastward to be statewide by the time we get to Wednesday. Strong, potentially damaging Kona winds out there. Again, the timeline being late Tuesday into Sunday, really starting to impact the rest of the state besides Kauai as we're going into Wednesday. Again, it's a First Alert Weather Day statewide starting tomorrow, Wednesday through Sunday. Heavy rainfall, strong winds, and severe thunderstorms all possible. Again, I want to remind everybody now you still have some time to prepare. Clear your storm drains, clear gutters, secure any outdoor items. That's especially true if you're on the windward side of the island. And of course, most importantly, check on your kapuno, check on your family, make sure they're aware of this approaching storm. Let's take another look at the storm. It's off to the northwest of us right now, and it's going to continue slowly creeping our way as we're going forward over the next couple of days, and it's going to bring just continued chances for rainfall. You can see in our First Alert Futurecast, this is the wide view. You can see it continues to move down closer to Kauai as we're going into around 6 p.m., then moving down to Oahu throughout Wednesday afternoon, Maui County. Thursday right now looks to be a little bit more scattered, so don't let Thursday being as not having as much rainfall really get you. The words I'm trying to say is not prepared for this weekend, because another round of heavy rainfall is possible Friday, Saturday, into Sunday, potentially bringing even more rainfall out there going into this weekend, further intensifying the system. Our island by island forecast for Tuesday over on Kauai, we're expecting showers early, but thunderstorms and heavy rainfall expected late out there. Heavy rainfall possible Tuesday on Oahu, but again, it's going to be late Tuesday into Wednesday. Maui County, isolated showers and partly sunny. East-southeasterlies between 5 to 10 miles per hour. 84 in Kahului, 85 for a high in Kihei. You'll notice a lot more sunshine over the eastern half of the state compared to what we're expecting over the western half of the state. 81 in Hilo, scattered showers and partly sunny conditions. The northern portions of the Big Island will also be seeing light winds becoming east-southeasterly in the evening. Now, our winds outside right now, overall east-southeasterly flow. You're starting to see the wind shift to be a little bit more southerly, coming out of the Kona direction closer to Kauai. Again, the front's off to the northwest of us, and you'll really see that shift happen as we're going forward into Tuesday and Wednesday, being more southeasterly Tuesday afternoon, more southerly going into Wednesday, and these are going to get pretty strong. It may not seem like it on our windcast, but again, this particular model is a little bit more conservative on how high the winds typically get. We're expecting winds to potentially be out of the south, closer to 20 to 30 miles per hour out there, gusting even higher than that. So if you're on the northern slope or the windward side of an island, it's going to get pretty gusty. We could be seeing wind advisories also go up from the National Weather Service. I know this looks daunting, but again, this is looking to be a pretty prolonged event. Prolonged heavy rainfall, thunderstorms. First Alert Weather Day starting tomorrow for Kauai. Statewide Wednesday into Thursday, Friday into Saturday as well. Some models even extending it all the way into Sunday. Stick with us. We've got all the details. Let's check in with Mark.
And coming up today at 12:30, another edition of the Long Game Podcast. We'll be sitting down with Olympic gold medalist Kristi Yamaguchi to talk about all her success and her great work with kids across the state. Catch the Long Game, 12:30 on the H&N streaming app, also available on Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire.
Time for some good news now. A harbor seal at the New England Aquarium is drawing attention on social media.
That's right, Drew. He's been seen hugging and fetching a large rubber duck. People seem to love videos showing 33-year-old Reggae and his bright yellow rubber ducks. But trainers say the playful routine is actually part of a structured enrichment program. Aquarium officials also say the sessions help build trust between animals and trainers.
That's pretty cool.
Cute dog right there. Hey, I like that cup you got right there, Drew.
Hey, thank you. This is a Drew Point mug.
Drew Point, and the Drew Point is an awesome show, I heard.
Thank you. Yeah, well, it's going to be coming up on Wednesday. We'll be able to break down the full weather forecast. It's going to be a very active week.
Exactly.
We're going to be able to answer questions live. Answering questions about this kind of daunting 7-day
Daunting
forecast.
is a good word.
Lots of first alert weather days. This is going to be a prolonged weather event. It's going to be bringing in heavy rainfall throughout Tuesday night into Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday is a little bit more scattered. Another round of heavy rainfall Friday into Saturday. We'll have more coming up on the H&N streaming app.
Stay with us. Thank you.